Good afternoon, giraffe class. Wow, what a day it's been today. I'm sorry I've been so very busy. I haven't even showed you my face today. But let's read our story today. Little Miss Sunshine keeps her smile. Da-da-da-da. Wow, I'd love to live in that house. Let's read together. Little Miss Sunshine lives in Rise and Shine Cottage on the banks of a river. And Little Miss Sunshine, as her name suggests, is a very happy person. Ooh, she sounds like Sakura. Sakura's Little Miss Sunshine. The sort of person who never gets in a bad mood. The sort of person who is the exact opposite of the somebody who appears in this story. Ooh. That somebody is Mr. Grumpy. And Mr. Grumpy, as the name suggests, is the grumpiest person in the world. The sort of person who is always in a bad mood. Everything annoys him. Flowers growing in the garden, sunny days and rainy days. But the thing that puts Mr. Grumpy in the worst possible mood is seeing other people happy. Whew, what a grump. Sitchin, you know what grumpy means, right? One morning, Mr. Grumpy met Little Miss Sunshine. Da-da-da-da-da. Good morning, Mr. Grumpy, said Little Miss Sunshine cheerfully. There's nothing good about it, snapped Mr. Grumpy. Humph, huffed Mr. Grumpy, after Little Miss Sunshine had left. That Little Miss Sunshine is always so abominably happy. Just for once, I'd like to see her in a bad mood. He's a bit nasty. It was on his way home that Mr. Grumpy thought of a plan to upset Little Miss Sunshine. He raced home and made a list of all the things that were guaranteed to upset him. It was a very long list. Now there must be something here that will put Little Miss Sunshine in a bad mood, he said to himself. Mr. Grumpy was not a very nice man. Look at him, he's writing a list of things to annoy Miss Sunshine with. The first thing Mr. Grumpy had written on his list was waiting for buses. So the next day, Mr. Grumpy opened a gate and let all Farmer Field's sheep out into the lane. And the bus was delayed for hours and hours while all the sheep were rounded up. Mr. Grumpy ran round to the bus stop. Tee-hee, he chuckled. I can't wait to see how upset Little Miss Sunshine is. But Little Miss Sunshine was not upset. In fact, she was not there. It was such a nice day that she had decided to walk into town. Bother, said Mr. Grumpy. The next day, Mr. Grumpy looked at the second thing on the list. Losing, he read out loud. So that evening, he invited Little Miss Sunshine round to his house to play cards, and he cheated. But Little Miss Sunshine, being the happy-go-lucky person she is, did not mind losing. Oh, she's a good sport. She doesn't care that she lost. Mr. Grumpy won every game they played. Oh, well played, Mr. Grumpy, she said at the end of the evening. Bother, said Mr. Grumpy after she had left. Oh, he's getting so angry. Mr. Grumpy read down his list again. Number 3 said getting caught in the rain. Mr. Grumpy filled up his watering can and using his ladder, he climbed a tree outside, just outside Little Miss Sunshine's house. Oh, he's up the tree. Hey, go back, please. And there he waited until Little Miss Sunshine came out for her walk. But Little Miss Sunshine saw his ladder. What a silly place to leave a ladder, she said. And she walked round the other side of the tree and she put the ladder away. Wow, she's a good girl. Bother, muttered Mr. Grumpy. He ended up stuck up the tree all night. Well, nearly all night. Just before sunrise, he fell asleep and fell out of the tree. Doom. The fourth thing on Mr. Grumpy's list was queues. Do you know what queues is? It means lining up. Mr. Grumpy waited until Little Miss Sunshine went shopping, and then he rushed ahead of her to the greengrocer's, where he started an argument with Mr. Pod about the quality of her peas. As he argued, a queue began to grow behind him, and when he glanced back, he saw Little Miss Sunshine standing at the back of the line. He smiled to himself and carried on arguing until he felt sure he must be fed up of waiting. But when he turned around the queue had disappeared, and when he went outside, he found everyone in the queue happily chatting with Little Miss Sunshine. Mr. Grumpy was furious. Furious means super angry. But then he met Mr. Nosy and had another thoroughly nasty idea. Look at them talking together. Do you know, said Mr. Grumpy, what Little Miss Sunshine calls Little Miss Bossy behind her back? She calls her knobbly knees. Mr. Grumpy's thoroughly nasty idea was to start a rumour that would get Little Miss Sunshine into trouble. And the rumour spread. Mr. Nosy told Little Miss Star, who told Mr. Uppity, who told Little Miss Splendid, who told Mr. Muddle, who told Little Miss Bossy, and Little Miss Sunshine said that Mr. Grumpy calls you knobbly knees, said Mr. Muddle. Huh, did he now? Said Little Miss Bossy, and marched straight around to Mr. Grumpy's house and biffed him on the nose. Poof. Of course not. Did you miss a page? It was a very sorry-looking Mr. Grumpy that Little Miss Sunshine met outside her house the next day. Little Miss Sunshine invited him in for breakfast to cheer him up and cooked him fried eggs. Sunny side up, of course. And did she manage to cheer up Mr. Grumpy? Of course not. No more than Mr. Grumpy can upset Little Miss Sunshine. The end. Thanks, guys. Bye.